Hello, my name is Jason. This is
Monty.
And today we're telling part 3 of the story of Samson. And this part is adapted from Judges chapter 15, verse 1 through 20. And I'm going to start off today. And it says, in the days of the harvest, Samson visited his wife, which, if you remember last time, we told the story of how he was kind of a jerk. And, basically, he kind of went off to sulk. And her father gave his wife to his best man from the wedding, which is totally awkward but kind of understandable because he was kind of being a jerk at the time. So that's sort of where we are, just in case you forgot. Samson visited his wife with a young goat, which, do you want to go into marriage rituals or anything like that?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, a young goat, this was really just a gift. Just as simple as possible. He gave her this young goat as a show of loyalty, and he said, I will go into my wife in the bride's room. But her father refused to let him go in to see her. And he said confoundedly, it seemed to me that you had only hate for her, so I have given her to your friend. And wow, that's crazy. And then he says this, he says, isn't her sister fairer than she? So not only did he give his wife, or Samson's wife, to his best friend from the wedding, then he's saying, hey, but isn't her sister kind of cuter than she is? So that's, it's just a very strange sort of setup here, but this is sort of where we are in the story. Samson replied, he said, this time I will bring the full wrath upon the Philistines. And so Samson went and he gathered 300 foxes together. He tied each of their tails, and he put a piece of wood between each of them, and he set this on fire. And then he set the foxes loose in all of the fields, and this just devastated all of the farmlands of the Philistines. And quite obviously the Philistines were very upset about this. So they went and they talked to just some random man, and they said, who did this? And they said, Samson, the son-in-law of Timnite. So, being the people that they were, they decided, well, let's fix this and let's just go and just slaughter everybody associated with Timnite. And that's what they did, and they basically murdered all of Timnite's family, including Samson's wife, sadly. So, you can go on from there.
All right, so after this happened, Samson, this really ticked Samson off. So he goes and slays 1,000 men. And after he does that, he says, I have made them red with blood, with a red jawbone of an ox. This day have brought destruction on 1,000 men. With that, he dropped the jawbone and walked off like a boss. I always picture that scene, watch it go over again in my mind, of him slaughtering 1,000 men, then standing in the middle of them, dropping his weapon and walking off. But then he goes into a cave, and again he starts sulking over himself.
Which he does a lot, by the way.
Yeah. But he was in desperate need of water, and he cried out to God for water. And he said that God had given him strength to slaughter 1,000 Philistines, but now he's going to sit here and die because he needs water.
The irony.
And so God put a crack in a rock, and water poured out of the rock, and Samson drank the water, and his spirit came back to him. And he was made strong again, and he judged over Israel in the Philistines' lands for 20 years.
So that's all for part 3 today. Sadly, we can't get to all of it. We're trying to get it all wrapped up in part 4, but as you know, there's a lot to this story, a lot more than we actually thought there was. There's some interesting parts in here, especially I like kind of this this interesting theme here. You know, we sort of see that Samson, he maybe was not the best guy, you know, which is cool because he was kind of the judge over Israel, like you said, for 20 years. So I think next part, we're going to be 20 years later, and we're just going to be seeing what happens and what picks up with him, and you know, maybe we'll meet Delilah this week or next week. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Next week for J&M Talk, we're going to be doing something very different. We have a science/psychologically based video, and it doesn't sound as boring as you might think. It's actually going to be a lot of fun. I may post something on the blog, sort of an article about kind of what we're doing, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We took some inspiration from a bunch of YouTubers that we watch. So, I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Leave your favorite moment in the comment section down below. And with all that said and done, have anything last to add?
No.
With all that said and done, my name is Jason. He is
Monty.
And we're signing off.